Tesla might be known for their overall aggressiveness, but they never cease to surprise people still. It all comes down to their recent ambition to make the Model Y the best-selling car in 2023. That's a lofty goal when you consider the fact that Toyota currently holds that title. With the Toyota Corolla, they sell 1.5 million units of those vehicles. So how exactly does Tesla plan to dominate the space already occupied by one of the most successful legacy car companies in the world? Gigafactory Berlin is Tesla's first manufacturing location in Europe and Tesla's most advanced, sustainable, and efficient facility. Slated for completion soon, it will manufacture hundreds of thousands of Model Y vehicles and millions of battery cells. It comes down to how they intend to ramp up the production of the Model Y to achieve that goal in 2023. When the Model Y was first released, it accounted for only a third of all their production. However, there's been a quarterly growth from the company that many say is unprecedented within the last 12 months, and with the help of the Giga Shanghai factory, the Model Y has sold units. Impressive as that might be, it's still a far cry from the 1.5 million units that Tesla will require as a bare minimum to remove Toyota from its coveted spot. What's more interesting is that Tesla is not pushing for a 1.5 million unit mark, but they're aiming and positioning themselves to sell a staggering and nearly unbelievable 5 million units by 2023. These figures don't even sound realistic, and yet it's not out of Tesla's reach. Now, this is where Giga Berlin steps in. Giga Berlin might have opened to many festivities and pomp and circumstance, but that hype is not all baseless. Elon Musk did not build another factory in Germany just for the sake of global expansion. The factory was built specifically to ramp up the volume production across the board. At the moment, Tesla's claimed that Gigafactory Berlin will produce a car every 45 seconds. And even though that might not sound like the speeds of bullets coming out of a machine gun, it's still incredibly fast. When you stack up the numbers, that's almost 800,000 vehicles per year from that factory alone, assuming that there's no rest period for the machines. Now, the Model Y production line is set to begin production in Q4 of 2021, and deliveries will go out by next quarter of 2022. At the moment, Tesla has stacked a majority of its attention on both Giga Texas and Giga Berlin. And then there's the particular nature of the Model Y that Giga Berlin is introducing into the European market, and how it differs from the model that most America is familiar with. Tesla has even gone as far as putting a sign on the vehicles that they've been testing to denote that the vehicles are not the regular Model Y. The question now is, what's the difference, and how is Giga Berlin optimizing the vehicle to fit the European market? Firstly, we need to begin with the technological features being offered before we can continue. It's also important to note that Tesla is also using Giga Berlin as a testing ground, and that many of the features it will be introducing to this European Model Y. The EV will eventually become the staple of other factories as time goes on. Let's begin with the paint shop. Currently, Tesla's paint shop has undergone some changes that have improved issues it had during the infamous Fremont production issue. A lot can be said about where there was a problem. However, that's in the past. What we know now is that there will be an array of new colors available for users with an eccentric taste. The standard color of the Tesla is white, and often more varied colors come at additional cost. But bright colored cars will attract the needed attention and eventually translate into demand and sales. A demand that has already been noted that Giga Berlin is perfectly capable of meeting. On the other end is Giga Berlin's production of the legendary 4680 battery cells. Legendary because we all know how expectant everyone is for these cells. Giga Berlin will be the first gigafactory to take responsibility for that production, and in line with Tesla's ambition, a proposed 1 million battery cells are expected to be produced daily, and as the volume of auto production increases, so will the batteries themselves. In the meantime, it appears that as Giga Berlin picks itself up, Giga Shanghai will be there to support the components and parts, at least until Giga Berlin can produce its own 4680 batteries to match production. The 2170 battery cells will still see much use in the beginning, and the Giga Berlin Model Y will use a structural battery pack with the 4680 cells. The use of structural battery packs will imply a 14 range increase, a considerable reduction of up to 7% in cost per kilowatt hour, and another reduction in cost per gigawatt hour. There's also the push for reduced components in which Tesla has been championing ever since their car was pulled apart by Sandy Munro and inefficiencies were pointed out. Particularly, the introduction of the structural battery pack will impact the design greatly. In previous iterations, Tesla placed batteries beneath the floor of the vehicle, But now, the floor of the vehicles themselves is the battery pack, and the car seats are mounted directly on top of them. This means a reduction in cost and a reduction in the machinery required to make the Model Y, which also translates to increased speed. Ultimately, this will allow Tesla to do what it's always wanted to do with its cars. EVs can compete with Corollas in terms of affordability, and this is something they'll be able to do when they reach considerably higher volumes of production. Giga Berlin is about to stand shoulders high among other gigafactories in the world. Another noteworthy feature of Giga Berlin is its own gigapresses. As earlier noted, Giga Berlin was stated to have a production capacity of 500,000 vehicles. However, when one takes into consideration that 8 gigapresses are the goal of completion for Berlin, it seems that Tesla might just be taking a conservative stance in regards to their own production output. Each gigapress has a cycle time of 80 to 90 seconds, which allows an output rate of 40 to 45 castings per hour, which means there will be about 1,000 castings per day for each gigapress. Let's assume only 3 of those gigapresses are devoted to Model Y, and let's assume a factor in a generous 20% downtime for each gigapress. The Tesla factory will still be on track to produce way more than 500,000 vehicles stated earlier. Does Tesla know this? Well, of course they do, because why else would they claim an ambitious goal such as dethroning the classic Toyota Corolla? In actuality, Giga Berlin's Phase 1 deliveries might see well beyond 1 million vehicles. In fact, rumor has it that the estimated output is actually 2 million vehicles per annum. And at that kind of production rate, Tesla would be controlling 16% of the EV market share in Europe alone. We've been speaking extensively about the Model Y, but don't make the mistake of thinking that Model Y will be the only one in the production chain. The Model 3 is also going to have its run, and there are rumors of an unannounced vehicle on the side as well. Currently, only 3 of the 8 gigapresses have been installed in Giga Berlin, and with those 3 gigapresses, 21,000 castings can be produced per week, which translates to 10,000 cars per week. Elon Musk has accurately predicted these numbers some years prior, and the production speed and sheer volume capacity of Giga Berlin are already causing a ripple effect in Germany, and legacy car companies like Volkswagen have been forced to respond. The CEO of Volkswagen, Herbert Diess, has caught the Tesla fever and recently called an emergency meeting with top executives in the company, highlighting how Tesla factories were leagues ahead of Volkswagen's own. Now Volkswagen is set to build a new state-of-the-art car factory close to its headquarters in Wolfsburg, Germany, hoping to raise its game. Volkswagen has no plans to release a flagship electric sedan until 2026, and it's part of their Trinity project, which has still not been approved by their supervisory board. They are currently aiming to match the speed of the production of the Tesla Model 3, and they plan to create a facility from scratch as opposed to modifying existing factories. And when one understands the cost implication of trying to revamp their existing facilities, then you'll understand this move. Already, workers fear that they might get laid off as Volkswagen struggles to catch up with Tesla's innovation, but the company has said nothing of the sort will happen. However, it seems pretty obvious that Tesla will take up a considerable market share from them in Germany. It's already known that Tesla is faster, cheaper, and more productive than Volkswagen, and that they've built factories in such a way that there's room for optimization. At the moment, Tesla has experienced delays in production start dates as they await approvals from regulatory bodies. The Gigafest, it seems, was not enough to impress the locals, and they've expressed serious objections to the behemoth that is the Giga Berlin Tesla factory. This is a complaint that the regional environmental ministry has not been too shy to heed. Environmental groups have also been at the forefront of the crusade against the Tesla factory, which seems to be a counterproductive argument when you consider that Tesla, its flagship EVs, and its renewable energy sources are everything their memorandum is required from manufacturing companies. In spite of these delays, there will be no delaying the ramp-up that Tesla has been vying for. At the moment, work is still being conducted on the supply chain and its production processes. A company that expands growth percentage of 200% in its first year or second is considered well within the achievable realm of ambition, but the moment they become as big as Tesla is, even 50 increments sound like a pipe dream. Everyone will tell them that it's impossible and that it's never been done by any manufacturing company in the world. However, nobody wants to be the one who bets against Elon Musk's Tesla. Even the famous Michael Burry of the housing market crash, who famously shorted Tesla to the tune of $530 million, took back his stance and is no longer shorting the company. Whether anyone likes it or not, Tesla has an expected growth of 50% over the years, a growth that will be experienced both in volume and revenue. And as unbelievable as this might sound, Tesla already has a track record of achieving the impossible. Let us know what you think about Tesla's huge plans for Giga Berlin by leaving a comment in the comment section below. Thanks!